Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The September 11th, 2025 meeting of the Medford Planning Commission will now come to order. Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Rachel Bennett.
Here.
Brad Bennington.
Here.
Larry Busco.
Here.
David Culbertson.
Here.
Mark McKechnie.
Here.
EJ McManus. Jared Pulver.
Here.
Jeff Thomas.
Here.
Jim Wallen. Roll has been taken.
Thank you, and we have a quorum. Tonight's agenda is available on the city's website for those watching from home. The order of business this evening will consist of consent calendar and written communications, minutes, public hearings, and reports. Item 20 is the consent calendar and written communications, and there are no items on our consent calendar or any written communications. Item 30 is the minutes. Have commissioners reviewed the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting of August 28, 2025? And if so, are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, the minutes will stand as presented. Item 40 is oral requests and communications from the audience. This is an opportunity for members of the audience to address the Commission on matters that are not on tonight's agenda. If you wish to speak, please come forward to the podium, sign in, tell us your name and your concern. Okay, seeing no one come to the podium, we'll move on to item 50, public hearings. Tonight's public hearing items 50.2 and 50.4 will be conducted as quasi-judicial hearings. Item 50.3 will be a legislative hearing. If you plan to testify this evening, please listen carefully to the following prepared statement regarding the procedural rules that govern these hearings. The statement will be read by Mr. Alan Moreland, Deputy City Attorney.
I'm going to explain the rules that govern these hearings. Before the hearing begins, city staff will give a report. The report will list the criteria that govern the city's decision. After the staff report, the hearing will be open for other speakers. The applicant will speak first and may ask for rebuttal time. Following the applicant, any other interested person will be allowed to speak. Any testimony, argument, or evidence you give must relate to the criteria listed in the staff report or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or land use regulations that you believe apply to the decision. If you fail to raise an issue or do not give the Commission sufficient information so that the Commission and any party can respond, you will not be able to appeal that issue to the Land Use Board of Appeals. If you do not raise a constitutional issue or other issues about any proposed condition with specificity so that the Commission can respond to that issue, you will not be able to bring a court action for damages. Before the hearing is closed, anyone who needs more time to present evidence must ask for more time. If you ask, the hearing will be continued or the record will be kept open, and you will have at least 7 days to present additional written evidence.
Thank you, Alan. In order to proceed through this evening's agenda in a timely manner, except at the Commission's request, applicants giving testimony will be given 10 minutes to present their application. Individuals who have comments about these applications will be given 3 minutes to respond, or 5 minutes if they are representing a group or organization. And 5 minutes will be given to the applicant for rebuttal. Item 50.1, CP-25-222, a legislative amendment to the economic element and goals, policies, and implementation strategies sections of the Medford Comprehensive Plan to incorporate the updated economic opportunity analysis and related goals and policies. The applicant agent is the City of Medford. The planner is Carla Angeli Palladino, and the staff is requested to continue this item until the October 23rd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. If there was anyone in the audience that has come to testify on this agenda item, please come forward and cannot make the October 23rd, 2025 meeting. Please come forward now and the Planning Commission will hear your testimony. Please keep in mind, however, that your questions may be answered at the October 23rd, 2025 meeting. There will be no decisions made this evening on this agenda item. With that said, is there anyone that wishes to come forward to talk on this item? Okay, seeing none, may we have a motion to continue?
Mr. Chair, I move to continue CP-25-222 to the October 23rd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Larry Busco,
Yes.
David Culbertson,
Yes.
Rachel Bennett,
Yes.
Jared Pulver,
Yes.
Jeff Thomas,
Yes.
Brad Bennington,
Yep.
Mark McKechnie.
Yes.
We have 7 yeses.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay. Moving on, item 50.2, SV 25-141, consideration of a request for the vacation of unimproved street rights-of-way for two 50-foot wide segments of Belknap Road located between Garfield Street and Center Drive, and then east of Center Drive to the terminus of the subject Belknap Road right-of-way. The subject rights-of-way are within the CH zoning district. The applicant is CEG Holdings LLC. The agent is CSA Planning Limited. The planner is Dustin Severs. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest or ex parte contact to disclose regarding this application? Seeing none, does anyone in attendance wish to question the commission as to conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts? Okay, seeing none. Dustin, can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Dustin Severs with the Planning Department. And first up, we have Belknap Road. This is a vacation for S. Turn it off with my book. Sorry. I won't start
Now
over.
you got to start over.
Oh, Lord.
No.
So this is a type 4 application for a vacation. The Planning Commission is authorized to act as an advisory agent. They forward a recommendation to City Council. City Council is the final approving authority, and that City Council hearing is scheduled for October 1st, 2025. Begin by looking at the project summary. So the subject site is located in South Medford. It consists of unimproved street rights-of-way, both 50-foot wide on each end of the terminus of Center Drive. We're all familiar with the surrounding area. Just butting the property to the north, or the vacation area to the north, is the KFC. You have the South Medford Center to the north. You have the Fairfield Hotel. And just to the south of the property is a large vacant area, and this was, just last year, was approved by this body for a subdivision by the applicant CEG, and it's their intent to develop in the future with commercial developments. Here's a couple of images of the site. This is looking west from the end of Center Drive, and this is looking east. So Belknap Road is currently, as you can see, an unimproved right-of-way. Site's general land use plan designation is commercial. This underlying zoning classification is regional commercial. There's no overlays associated with the site. And again, the proposal is for the vacation of two 50-foot wide strips of Belknap Road. Moving along, so I'll give you a little bit of a history. So this vacation was approved on Belknap in 2017, as you can see in the exhibit map. At the time, they vacated just 0.38 acres. It was proposed to vacate the entire area at that time. However, the owners at that time only wanted the 0.38 done. Since that time, the ownership has passed. So now the co-applicant, CEG Holdings, as well as Nash Holdings, they're looking to get the job done this time and vacate the entire Belknap Road. And as stated previously, here's a plat that was approved by this body just last year. This is for the CEG subdivision. So they did obtain tentative plat approval. Should be doing the public improvements out there soon to get final plat approval. And as you can see, they will be extending Liberty Way as well as extending Center Drive. So there will be some important connections made. And finally, the request is again for each end of Center Drive, these 50-foot wide strips of right-of-way. Upon the approval, the land will be vested to the 4 adjoining property owners. So we're right into our findings and recommendations. So the commission can find that the criteria have been satisfied. The applicant did provide this map of the effective areas. So we received no oppositions from any adjoining or the affected property owners throughout this project. So they do meet the criteria. So based on the findings and conclusions that all the approval criteria are met or are not applicable, we ask that you forward a favorable recommendation to City Council for approval of SV 25-141. That's per the staff report dated September 4th, 2025, and it includes exhibits A through L. And with that, I can take questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dustin. Any questions of staff? Okay, not seeing any.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will open the public hearing and ask the applicant or their agent to come forward and talk about the project.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Seth Adams. I'm with CSA Planning. We have offices at 4497 Brown Ridge Terrace here in Medford. We are the agents for CEG Holdings, which owns the L-shaped parcel of 7 acres to the south, which Dustin just mentioned is currently starting public improvements for a subdivision. Road Credit Union now owns the parcel, the other abutting parcel on the south there. And so throughout this process, our clients have coordinated a lot with the city, as well as the abutting property owners, being Road Credit Union, Nash Holdings, who also own the South Medford Center. So I'm just here to say our clients are fully in support of the vacation, and based on our coordination with the other property owners, we presume that they also support the request. So I would just ask that on behalf of our clients that you respectfully forward a favorable recommendation to the council for approval. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions of the applicant? Not seeing any. Okay. All right, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak regarding this application? Okay. I'm not seeing anybody come forward. Do we have any additional comments from planning?
None, thank you.
Public Works? Legal?
Nope.
Okay. I guess you're not needing your rebuttal time. So with that, we will close the public hearing. And do we have a motion for consideration?
Mr. Chair, I move that based on the findings and conclusions that all the approval criteria are met or not applicable, forward a favorable recommendation to the City Council for approval of SV-25-141 per the staff report dated September 4th, 2025, including exhibits A through L.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on this item? Not seeing any. Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
David Culbertson,
Yes.
Mark McKechnie,
Yes.
Rachel Bennett,
Yes.
Brad Bennington,
Yep.
Jeff Thomas,
Yes.
Jared Pulver,
Yes.
Larry Besco.
Yes.
We have 7 yeses.
Thank you. Motion passes. Good luck with your project. All right, moving on. Item 50.3 LDS 25-205. Consideration of a request for a tentative plat approval for the Mieha subdivision, a 4-lot residential subdivision proposed for single, duplex, and triplex units. The site consists of a single developed parcel totaling approximately 0.75 acres and located west of West McAndrews Road and fronted by Maple Park Drive along its southerly boundary. The property is zoned SFR 10. The applicant is Crater Lake Construction, LLC. The agent is Needhammer Surveying, Inc., and the planner is Dustin Sievers. Does any commissioner have a conflict of interest or ex parte contact to disclose regarding this application? All right, not seeing any. Does anyone in attendance wish to question the commission as to conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts? All right, not seeing anybody there. Dustin, another staff report, please.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. Dustin Sievers again with the Planning Department. I'm being told this is pronounced the Mejia subdivision.
Mejia?
So I had to write it down so I can
All right.
remember it. So this is file number LDS 25-104. The criteria for land division are found in section 10.2025. We do have one new exhibit. This was forwarded over to the commissioners this morning. This is a revised report from the fire department. So in their original report, they asked that the applicant provide an illustration of how they're going to meet the turnaround standards for their fire trucks. Since the time the staff report was published, the applicant did meet with the fire department officials, and they did come up with this illustration on the screen, so that has been satisfied. So we'd like to include Exhibit I-1, which will replace Exhibit I. Looking at our project summary, so the site consists of a single developed parcel totaling approximately 0.75 acres. So there currently is a single-family residence on the property. There's also some accessory structures. The property is fronted by Maple Park Drive along a southerly boundary. Maple Park Drive is a Jackson County maintained road. It's classified as a standard residential street. And you also have Katie May Drive to the north. It's terminated at the westerly boundary of the site. So with the development of this parcel, they will be extending Katie May Drive to this easterly boundary where they will run dead into this house that is constructed here. So to address the elephant in the room, this house was approved, I believe, well before Katie May was constructed with the Dell subdivision. So yeah. Hopefully something will happen in the future and we'll eventually be able to make it to the east. But we certainly have a clear trajectory to go west to make a connection to where Katie May is currently terminated. Look at the surrounding area. So to the north is industrial, also some industrial. Actually, this is the camp. I believe that's the urban campground to the east. And abutting the property, again, is you have this Dale Place subdivision, which this image is actually a little outdated. I believe all the homes on here have been constructed at this point, and it's single-family residential to the south. Here's an image of the subject site looking north from Maple Park Drive. Again, this is outdated. All these homes have been constructed on Dale Place. Site general land use plan designation is urban residential. Its zoning is SFR 10. It's in the airport area of concern. And the proposal is for the Mejia subdivision. This is a 4-lot residential subdivision proposed for single, duplex, and triplex lots. So the first thing we'll look at is density. So based on 0.79 gross acres, 4 units does meet the minimum requirement for the zoning and the size of the lot. Next, we'll look at the dimensional standards for the SFR 10 district. So this one's a little unique. So they're proposing standard lots, duplex lot, and triplex lots, which all have different dimensional requirements. So first, we'll look at the duplex lots. Those are lots 1 and 2. They meet all of our dimensional requirements. Lot 3 is proposed for a triplex. I should also point out that lots 2 and 3 have a proposed minor minimum access easement, which does require an extra 10 feet of width, and they do satisfy that requirement. And finally, you have lot 4, which is proposed as a standard lot. It is also proposed as an oversized lot. So anytime you have a existing house in a yard area, it's allowed to be oversized. It can be up to twice the size of the maximum of the underlying zone, which does meet that requirement. Going back to the minimum access easement, so a minor minimum access easement is 20 feet in width. It can serve a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3 units, not counting ADUs. So as you can see, they are proposing a triplex to the south, so that will max out the number of units and take access off this minimum access easement. Therefore, lot 2 will have to have a separate access to get on their property. So I'm going to go right into our findings and recommendations. Pretty simple one. So staff has reviewed the applicant's findings and conclusions and recommends the commission adopt the findings as presented. And with that, we ask that you adopt the findings as provided by the applicant and direct staff to prepare the final order for approval of LDS 25-205, and that's per the staff report dated September 4th, 2025, and includes exhibits A through K, and also we're going to include exhibit I-1 replacing exhibit I. And with that, I can take questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, Mr. Severs, in your report and in your testimony, I didn't hear any exceptions. So my question is, are there any exceptions to applicable standards for this application, or does this application meet all the standards that are applicable?
The application meets all the standards that are applicable.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I guess I have one. So we're talking about Lot 1 and Lot 2 would be duplexes. So that's 4 units, right?
Mhm.
And the triplex would be 5, 6, 7, with 8 being on lot number, I guess, is it 4 at the bottom, or is that number? Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a kind of Okay, so that also is within the, but if they wanted to, the triplex lot, they could put 2 units on and still be within the,
It's my understanding is shown on a plat, they'll be required to do what's shown on the plat. In this case, they will have to put a triplex on the property.
okay, because they put it on the plat.
Now, if they did all standard lots, there'd be nothing prevent them from maxing out on middle housing based on the size of lots. I
I
think
see.
by calling them out as triplexes, duplexes, allow them to have lots that are larger than the standard
I see.
lots.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, with that, we will open the public hearing and ask the applicant or their agent to come forward and tell us about the project.
Good evening, Commissioners, staff, and members of the audience. My name is Bob Needhammer. I'm a professional land surveyor maintaining an office at 3126 State Street, Suite 203 in Medford. My office represents the Mahia subdivision before you this evening. And based on the submitted application, the prepared staff report, this additional staff report from the Fire Marshal Tanner Farrington, and a presentation this evening, this approval criteria has been satisfied. So therefore, we respectfully request that you approve the application for Mahia subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant? Well, I know you'd be disappointed if I didn't have a question, but I'm going to let you off the hook tonight. I have no questions for you.
You spoiled my whole evening. Thank you.
All right. And I assume you want to reserve time for rebuttal if needed. Okay. All right. Moving on here, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak regarding this? Okay, please come forward. Make sure you've signed in, tell us your name and address, and offer your evidence for consideration by the commission.
Hi, I'm Kathy Arnold. My home address is 3070 Tahitian in Medford, but I own the property over to the east. I've owned it for over 20 years, since January of '01. Currently, my son lives there. And my question,
Can you just speak a little closer to the microphone? So we need to get you on
Well, it's kind
tape.
of in my face.
You can pull it down.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay. Okay, my question about that subdivision is, I'm just concerned that nobody tries to use the little driveway between the property and the next property. There's a private easement, and the lady that lives there, Ann, she can't get out, so I'm here sort of talking for Ann. They need to somehow barricade that so people can't try to use that little driveway. Ann's house has been hit multiple times by cars. So she doesn't need to have a lot more traffic influx coming down that little driveway. And I was also concerned about the fire trucks. Well, I think that's been settled. And then also, you may or may not know that the front lot on this, I don't know the numbering, there's the original house and a garage. There's an ADU that's also filled with a whole family. And there's also an RV that's parked in there that's people living in. So there's a lot of people crammed on that little front lot. So, and I don't know what the parking and driving situation that's going to be. I really think it all needs to be fenced and kept off of Ann's driveway. Any questions for me?
Any questions? I'm seeing none.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody else that would like to come and speak regarding this application? All right, seeing none. Do we have any additional comments from planning?
None, thank you.
Engineering? Legal?
No.
Okay, Mr. Needhammer, would you like to offer some rebuttal?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure of the driveway that was mentioned, but I don't have any control over off-site driveways. The criteria has been satisfied. The dwellings that are in Lot 4 have all been approved and are satisfied the requirements as well. And we will be barricading the end of Katie May Drive once the streets are constructed.
And it looked like from your map that the pavement actually does not go to the property line. It's back a bit. I saw a reserved
On
acreage.
Katie May?
Huh? Yeah,
Yeah, Katie May will go to the property line, but there is a 1-foot strip through there
Separation.
that's controlled by the city.
okay,
And that's where the barricade will be.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will close the public hearing. And do we have a motion for consideration?
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the findings as provided by the applicant and direct staff to prepare the final order for approval of LDS-25-205 per the staff report dated September 4th, 2025, including Exhibits A through K, including Exhibit I-1, replacing Exhibit I.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Rachel Bennett,
Yes.
Jeff Thomas,
Yes.
Jared Pulver,
Yes.
David Culbertson,
Yes.
Brad Bennington,
Yep.
Mark McKechnie,
Yes.
Larry Besco.
Yes.
We have 7 yeses.
Thank you. The motion passes. Good luck with your project. Okay, moving on to item 50.4, TF 25-137, a transportation facility application to upgrade the north side of Edward Street between North Riverside Avenue and Niantic Street to apply a modified minor collector street cross-section. The improvements include reducing bike and on-street parking lanes, eliminating or reducing the park strip, and installing a wider sidewalk. The applicant is the City of Medford Engineering. The planner is Sarah Souza. And can we have a staff report, please? Oh, there you are.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sarah Souza with the Planning Department. This last item, hearing item for you on the agenda tonight is the Edward Street Transportation Facility. It's planning file number TF 25-137. So I'm going to go through quite a few slides, but I think I'll go pretty quickly here. We have the proposal, the authority and criteria, the background location, the project selection and funding, the existing conditions. We'll show the standard cross-section, the proposed cross-section. We'll look at the previous meetings that this project's been reviewed at. We'll look at some traffic counts as per your request at your staff, your study session. We'll look at the ATAC and TC recommendations. We'll look at some updated information that I have for you, and then we will look at next steps before finally concluding with a recommendation. So the proposal are improvements to a portion of Edward Street as to a modified minor collector street cross-section. The Planning Commission is the recommending body to the City Council for transportation facilities. The City Council is the approval authority. The criteria for a transportation facility is shown here on the screen. All of the criteria has been addressed in the staff report and found to be either not applicable or satisfied. So as I mentioned at your study session, TFs or transportation facilities are required when a new street or an existing street is proposed for improvements to a modified cross-section as opposed to the standard cross-section. The proposed street that we're talking about tonight is an existing street. It's Edward Street. The portion that's planned for improvement is between Niantic Street to the west and North Riverside to the east. And this is located in Liberty Park, just north of downtown. And this project has been identified in city plans, including the transportation plan, the Liberty Park plan, and the city center revitalization plan. It's a fully funded project through the Medford Urban Renewal Agency. I know you've seen these pictures before at your study session, but to show them again, you've got some pictures showing Edwards Street at the one end of it. So that first one is Edwards at North Riverside looking west. The picture at the bottom is Edwards Street at Niantic Street at the end of the improvements, and that's looking east. This is an existing paved street. It's got a travel lane in each direction, and the existing right-of-way is 60 feet. And this shows you the standard cross-section for a minor collector street, which Edwards is. And that includes a 5-foot, typically would require a 5-foot sidewalk, 8-foot park strip, an 8-foot on-street parking strip, and a 6-foot bike lane, and 11-foot wide travel lane on both sides. So to do all of that, the total would typically be 76 feet. Again, what we're working with on Edwards is 60 feet. So again, you've seen these, but this is the preliminary plan for the improvements to Edwards Street. What we're talking about is just improvements to the north side of Edwards in this section. You can see the areas that are in green are areas that are planned for plantings or landscaping, but for the most part, the planter strip will be eliminated or reduced. But the proposal is for to add bike lanes, on-street parking lane, and a sidewalk to the north side to mirror what's already been done on the south side of this street. Again, this next slide just shows the minor collector street cross section. The standard is at the top, and then the proposed Edward Street is on the second row there. So the proposal, as the city is proposing, is to reduce the bike lane by 1 foot, reduce the on-street parking by 1 foot, and add that extra 2 feet to the sidewalk. As far as the planter strip, it's pretty much being reduced or eliminated. So this is all in order to fit within the existing 60-foot right-of-way and not have to acquire additional land. One thing I did not mention at your study session that I wanted to mention is that when I show a 7-foot sidewalk, it's really 6.5 feet, because there's also a 1/2 foot is the curb and the gutter, which I didn't even think about, but I just want to mention that. So as I told you before, this has gone before the Transportation Commission, the Active Transportation Advisory Committee, and then at your study session on August 25th. So we have, has been reviewed by all these bodies. Now, one of the questions that came up at your study session was what the traffic counts for this portion of Edwards is. So we don't have any up-to-date information, but we have our counts from 2018 and one from 2020. It shows the numbers there. You can see the number is greatly reduced in 2020, and I think we can all agree that that's probably not a great year for counts, as not as much traffic in that year. People were kind of hunkered down. So we don't have up-to-date counts, so we really can't say what the current counts would be. The traffic engineer said that the numbers probably are a little bit low for a minor collector, but would be high for a lower order street. So I wanted to answer hopefully that answers the questions on the traffic counts to some degree and why this street is a minor collector. That's how it's classified. So as I mentioned before at your study session, the Transportation Commission and the Active Transportation Advisory Committee both suggest that we use the standard widths for the bike lane, the on-street parking, and the sidewalk. And so that may be the recommendation you want to make as well tonight, but I do have some additional information as to why the city is proposing the wider sidewalk. So the reason for the wider sidewalk is due to conflicts with existing mailboxes, poles, and street signs that is just making it difficult. So we need a wider sidewalk in order to have the ADA clearance that's really necessary. So again, it's really, even though it says 7 feet, it was really now a 6.5 wide sidewalk. So it's not 7 feet like I in that previous screen showed you. a survey has been done, and it looks like we do have an additional foot of right-of-way that additional foot the city is suggesting would go to the on-street parking, so it would meet the standard amount. So we would just be looking at really reducing the bike lane by 1 foot. So I hope that helps kind of give you some idea as to why we're proposing it the way we are. I want to make sure you understood kind of the reasoning for that wider sidewalk. The next step is a city council meeting that's scheduled for October 1st. And with that, we're hoping that you will forward a favorable recommendation to the city council for approval of the TF 25-037 per the staff report. It is September 4th, 2025, including all the exhibits. Now, I wanted to also tell you, I normally wouldn't put the motion up here, but I do have 2 motions for you, and maybe neither will be what you want, but I have just the motion that if you wanted to forward a favorable recommendation based on the plans before you, the city's proposal, and then if you preferred the recommendation from the Transportation Commission, then we have the alternate motion here. So either motion would work, but I just wanted to have both available to you. I also want to mention that we don't have our agent from Mira here tonight, so we'll just do our best to answer any questions you might have, or I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Do we have, yes, sir?
Sarah, thank you very much for chasing down those traffic counts, and that's helpful. I had just a quick question, is that at 505 Edward Street, looks like you're going to be building a new driveway there, and I see in the plans there's a vehicle sitting there, and I can't tell whether their driveway extends in behind the structure so that they can turn around, but on higher order streets, the driveways are, I think there's a requirement that they be turnaround driveways if they own, and this is the only one, and so I was wondering if there was any consideration for that on that, and maybe I'm not looking at this right. It's possible that that driveway goes all the way past the structure and you can turn around in the back. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that, but
Okay.
I could definitely check with Ken Perducci, the one that's representing this project for Mira, and see if that's part of the plan. I don't believe it. My guess is that it's not, but we can definitely ask that question
Okay.
and have them consider that.
All right, thank you. And then on 521 Edwards, looks like we're not building a driveway looks like there's a driveway in front there and a vehicle sitting there, but there's no driveway there. Is that, it looks like they might have a driveway off on the west side of the structure also there. And that one, I think, does go in the back and you can turn around.
I think you just go to image.
Which one do I click on? You guys let me know. Live image? I'll zoom in. I guess it looks like I can get there. I don't know if this is clear enough to see, or.
But just so they can see the 505.
Is that right? Are we pointing at the right ones?
Well, there's nothing, it looks like you're not going to build a driveway there. It looks like the driveway is going to be on the west side of the building. There, yes.
That looks like
So I guess my question there mostly is on the right side of the building, or the east side. That concrete, I guess that won't be used as a driveway then after this improvement's done. I guess maybe that's my question.
Well, we can certainly ask the question. I don't have an answer
Okay.
for you tonight on that. Is there
Commissioner
any
Esper.
suggestion on this, or you just come more like?
That was it, yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. I guess I don't.
You have a question?
No, I just want to say, looking at a detailed blow-up on aerial maps, that access for that house does go all the way back to what looks like a garage, and their entire front of that house is their front yard. So there's no turnaround access. They'd have to back
It
out.
may not be possible.
Right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I've got a number of them. So it's hard to see on this, but 521, I believe, is, yes, that one. Those people, that is all pull-in parking on that. There is no, yep, so they back into the street. And then on the corner of Riverside, Sign Dude has actually fenced in all the area all the way along the current not the right-of-way, but the current edge of the sidewalk, current edge of the pavement. So do these people know this is coming?
Every single one of them knows this is coming.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
they've all been met
in the
with.
case of that, does replacing their fence also, is that included in the scope of the work, or are they sort of SOL and have to do that
I
themselves?
think we'll be replacing those kinds of things at the city's cost. That's my
Okay.
understanding.
And then also, it's a little bit hard to tell, but I'm sort of guessing that since this is a minor collector, you're expecting all of those driveways to be commercial 20-foot radius driveways. Is that something that maybe
Like in the future?
Mr.
or-
Burrows would be able to answer? And are they going to do the other thing, which is to try to eliminate half the driveways and make everybody do cross-access easements?
I don't think that I've heard any discussion about having any cross-access.
that.
We're forcing that.
We're
Usually
just
that
trying to
happens
do a
with
good-
development, you know.
Just
it's-
trying to be a good neighbor
yeah.
here, and we're gonna.
No, it is just, it's just like working with the existing conditions is kind of what the city's trying to do here.
Okay. Okay, any other, yes, sir.
If you have one. So Sarah, I just wanted you to throw up that second motion, just out of curiosity. I was just trying to make sure I understood what it was saying. So, so is that saying to build it to standard?
Exactly.
And so you'd have to go get right away, or if you don't have it, or?
No, so let's go back a few slides here. So remember, one thing that's happening is we don't have the park strip. So we're not meeting our standard right there.
Right.
Let's go back here. Okay, so let's look at this. So the standard bike lane is 6 feet. What the city's proposing is 5 feet. The standard on-street parking area is 8 feet. The city's proposing 7. So those 2 additional feet, the city wants to put that into the sidewalk and have a wider sidewalk. That's really one of the main modifications, other than eliminating the park strip.
Okay.
But part of the reasoning for that is because of the existing conditions out there.
Right.
With having a curb-tight sidewalk, having these poles and actually street signs and everything we're working around. That's why we're asking for the wider sidewalk.
Okay, but the standard build out would require the planter strip, right? So we just need to modify the wording if we wanted to do either, I guess. If we want to do what staff is proposing, we do the first one. If we want to do the second one, we probably don't want to do that because it would require a planter strip. So we need to monkey with the wording to say, with the exception of the planter strip or something like that.
You could change that however you want to say it. It's basically taking the plan before you, and then if you want it, the standard cross-section for these things, you could say you want the standard cross-section width for the sidewalk, on-street parking lane, and the bike lane. It's really not addressing the park strip, but that's why we're here before you tonight. This is not going to meet the standard cross-section because we're eliminating the park strip in most areas.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Rachel, you had a comment?
Yeah, it's kind of this similar question. So I thought I understood that there was a survey done that indicates there's an additional foot available, and the recommendation is from the city that the bike lane would be reduced by a foot and the on-street parking would stay the standard.
Exactly. So if there is an extra foot, which is still a little unclear to me whether there's a full foot or not, but whatever that extra is, it would go into the on-street parking.
Okay,
It's
so,
my understanding also that we do have bike lanes that on other streets that are 5 feet. So that's not abnormal for a lot of streets.
so just thinking about the first motion that goes with the city's recommendation,
Okay.
that would account for if this extra foot as surveyed is available, we would go with whatever the plan would be. Bike lane is being reduced, on-street parking wouldn't be reduced,
Correct.
and then no planter strip and expanded sidewalk.
Right.
That's the city's recommendation if we make motion number 1.
Yes.
That's what we go. Okay.
Sorry if that's not clear. I just found out today about that extra
Sure.
space.
I just want to make
and-
sure if we're voting on what's in the report
Okay.
on the 4 corners.
You can make your own
that's
motion.
what's
I was just trying to be
reflected.
like
No.
helpful.
Totally fine. I just also had a similar question about the second motion and how that aligns with what's there. And I understand that by omitting mention of the planter strip, we're not approving it, but that's not usually how we like to do it, make sure there's no question. So I understand it, and I thank Commissioner
Okay.
Pulver for ironing out that piece for me too.
Sorry, we can rewrite it right now too if we need to.
Okay. Any other questions down that way? Well, we'll get to the discussion part later. So, all right, we will.
Again, our agent's not here, but there may be someone else here to speak on it. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, with that, we will open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone that would like to come forward and talk about this project. And I'm not seeing anybody. Well, staff have any, planning have any additional comments?
I was just going to update the motion. Carla just mentioned that I have the wrong file number on there, so let me look at that.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and do that while we ask around for other. Engineering have anything to add on this? Okay. Legal have anything to offer?
No.
Okay. Then we will close the public hearing, and we will take a breather here while Sarah works on revising the motion. Is that, or do you have it fixed
Okay,
yet?
I do have it fixed. I'm sorry, I had 037 instead of 137.
I see.
Apologize.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So then, I guess we get a motion for consideration.
Mr. Chair, I move to forward a favorable recommendation to the City Council for approval of TF-25-137 per the staff report dated September 4th, 2025, including all exhibits.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I would support the motion and not the recommendations from the other committees. I just think expanding the sidewalk to accommodate for ADA compliance is totally reasonable. And if we've got the extra foot to work with, applying it to the parking standard or on-site parking seems fine.
Okay. Do we have any more? I would, personally, I would rather that we give the 8 feet to the cars because they're going to provide some protection for the people on the street, leave the bike lane at 5 feet, and if we have extra, throw it into the sidewalk because 6 feet is enough to work with for ADAs when you really only need 3.5 to 4 feet of travel path. And I think that would make it a little bit safer street. I really don't, especially if people are driving the big trucks, having those poke into a bike lane is also not a safe condition. So that would be my recommendation. Yes.
I think that's what Sarah was saying, is that extra foot, based on the survey, is going to the parking.
Well, I was saying let's make the parking 8.
Okay.
And then if we have an extra foot, make a sidewalk at 7, but keep the sidewalk at 6 for sure.
Bike lane down to 5.
Bike lane for.
Parking at 8.
And then if
sidewalk
any.
gets whatever it gets.
Gets as much as it can get.
Okay.
Yep, I'm happy to
make
make
that
that as a motion, if you're
An
willing.
amendment, I'd love to have one.
Okay, I will make that as an amendment, friendly amendment.
So accepted.
Okay,
Need a second.
I thought you did.
Oh, I did.
Oh, wait, who's the seconder?
So my only question before I'd second that is my concern, I think the reason why they might want more space on the sidewalk is because of the existing conditions out there. There is businesses and property owners that already have things that are already in that, where that sidewalk's gonna go, and it may either not be able to be moved or may incur a much larger cost for the city. And so I guess that's a question I would ask before I'd want to change my second.
Well, I think if you only had 5 feet to work with, I would say that's true. But if we got 6 feet to work with, you're going to run into potentially a power pole or a fire hydrant, and those are no larger than a foot diameter. So you'll still have extra room to work around that.
And I think the way that it actually sits right now, doing the motion that way, the sidewalk gets from 5 to at least 6 and possibly 7.
Okay.
Because any excess on that survey goes to
And it's at
sidewalk.
the property line side too.
Yes.
So,
Is there any-
rather than moving the parking in and out.
I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page here. So the 7-foot sidewalks, what's proposed is really going to be 6.5 because you've got the curb and,
Right.
and gutter. So what's the city's proposing is 6.5-foot wide sidewalk. But if there is additional area to add that to add that extra foot, if there is an extra foot to the on-street parking to make
And
it
we're-
standard.
Yeah, no, so we're saying keep the standard parking at 8 feet, and then the extra goes to the sidewalk.
I think we're all saying the same thing. I just want to make sure.
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
What you're saying is that if there's any variance, it gets added to the parking. I'm saying, no, we keep the parking at the standard 8 feet, and if there's any extra, it goes to the sidewalk.
Good evening, Chair, fellow commissioners. I'm Doug Burrows with the Public Works Department. And yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Chair. I think engineering's position is the sidewalk should have priority. If there is an extra foot, then we'd gladly add it to parking. But if we don't ensure 6.5 feet for a sidewalk, and we just like, well, we'll take a foot away from the sidewalk as proposed, we'll add it to the parking, that means we could only have 5.5 feet for the sidewalk.
Well, but you also get to drive on the top of the curb because it's going to be flush, so.
That doesn't
you-
count.
you-
So,
You do get 6 feet.
yeah,
out
it
of
doesn't
that.
count. The curb doesn't count.
Yeah, well.
In Pro-Wag, it doesn't count. So I would much rather have the sidewalk take precedence, and if we do have some extra, that can go to the parking. Standard residential streets have 7 feet parking all day long. That is a standard. So it's not that far off from what we already have in the books as a standard parking width. And like I said, in places where we can do more, we'll happily add more to parking. It seems the most prudent thing. But if we don't ensure the sidewalk has at least 6.5 feet, we could definitely have some ADA issues, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So I think engineering's position is going to be to give the sidewalk precedence over the parking. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, the second has not agreed to the amendment.
I got to go with Doug. I believe that, I just want to make sure that the sidewalk is up to standard for what the engineering thinks it needs to be.
Okay. Well then, unless there's somebody else that wants to second that.
I don't think you can second the amendment. The seconder has to.
On a friendly amendment, the seconder has to second. You'd have to add a.
Then we'd have to
second.
add
I think we're voting on the motion on the screen
Yes.
to do what staff recommends.
Okay, well then, if we're back to the original motion, and if there's no other discussion, not seeing any, Kaylee, can we have a roll call, please?
Jared Pulver,
Yes.
Larry Busco,
Yes.
Mark McKechnie,
No.
Brad Bennington,
Yep.
David Culbertson,
Yes.
Jeff Thomas,
Yes.
Rachel Bennett.
Yes.
We have 6 yeses and 1 no.
Thank you. Motion passes. Good luck with your project. Okay, that concludes tonight's public hearings, and we will move on to item 60, presentation of reports. Transportation Commission, Mr. Pulver.
We have not met in a little while.
Okay. Site Plan and Architectural Commission, Mr. Thomas.
We had 2 continuance, so we didn't have anything to report.
Well, Planning Department, Ms. Aiken, you're on deck here.
I'm up. I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Palladino to start us off.
Oh,
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Carla Palladino. Just wanted to give you an update that we presented to the City Council last night at study session regarding the downtown plan. We have sent them the links to the minutes and the meeting that they could watch if they want. We tried to summarize kind of the thoughts and questions that came up, and I think there was still a lot of questions on their end about kind of the implementation piece. I think that they do understand that it's a guiding document and that's an aspirational document with goals and strategies, and so hopefully, you know, we will see kind of where they land on October 1st, and we'll confirm with you kind of where they vote on. So let me know if you have any questions.
thank you. Not seeing any.
So I was checking calendar. I am Kelly Aiken with your Planning Department. I forgot to check to see if there is a study session for the 22nd. I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Oh.
So probably, we'll keep you posted. So keep an eye out for us, but I don't think we have anything on schedule. We do have business for your next 3 meetings, so that's September 25th, October 9 looks a little sketch, and then October 23rd for sure. At council, besides the 2040 plan, last meeting, last week we had the CAPER, which is the annual reporting for our CDBG program that was approved. And then up next meeting next week, we have an annexation at Thomas and Stewart, and then an initiation for another annexation up on the very north end of Table Rock. So those are things you haven't seen. And I think that that's all that I have for you, unless you have questions.
Thank you. No, I guess not.
All right,
So
excellent, thank you.
Okay, messages and papers from the chair. Nothing from me. Remarks from the city attorney.
No remarks.
Proposition and remarks from commission members. All right, seeing nothing, I guess we are adjourned.